Hey Gadget Groupies, audio is a beautiful technical art. It's where I got my start in content production, multimedia, recording voiceover auditions, casting, and directing sessions. So I'm always on the lookout for novel, cool, fun audio tech. One of the cool things about audio tech is that it doesn't cycle very aggressively, not like, say, camera tech, where 1 year to the next we can see a profound change in camera body capabilities. The downside to that is audio tech can sometimes feel kind of dull, that we're not seeing those aggressive changes. We're not seeing those new markets being addressed. So when we see something that looks kind of funky, it's worth taking a closer look, and that's what we're talking about today. This is the MikMe. It's a portable, rugged, studio-grade, large diaphragm condenser, portable microphone with Bluetooth, the ability to pair up with your phone and capture higher quality on the go. First up, addressing the manufacturer claims, they absolutely nail what it is that they're setting out to do, building a rugged housing for a more fragile microphone technology. Just like with cameras, we want to have that conversation about picking the right tool for the right job. Studio-grade microphones exist in very safe environments, because if you think about what a microphone does, it's all about capturing tiny, sensitive vibrations in air, so the element that you use to capture those vibrations in air is also very sensitive to things like handling noise. They're typically not very durable. The benefit of durability often comes with the compromise of having a little less detail, crispness, or nuance. Makes them pretty great for live situations, like you'll often see this is the SM57 in a stereo pair miking up heads of state or the president of the United States. But it's not going to sound as clean, as crisp, or as detailed as what you'll find in a safe, treated studio. We'll also find some other halfway points. This is a little capsule condenser. This will go into a handheld condenser. You'll see something similar on the inside of a lot of USB microphones. This is a little more detailed and a little more nuanced than this, but this is still a little bit more durable than that. Ripping open the guts of one of my cheaper studio mics, this is what we'll most often see in the recording booth. This is a large diaphragm condenser, 1-inch gold plate, which sucks power from a preamp, phantom power, 48 volt, and then delivers the nicest clarity, the most nuance, but you never really want to touch these things with your hands when you're using them. What MikMe is trying to do here is take something which is this detailed, this colorful, this nuanced, and try to at least make it as durable as what we have right here. And MikMe totally achieves what they set out to do. This is a completely self-contained unit. The diaphragm is suspended in this really rugged internal shock mount to help minimize handling noise, also bumps and bruises just from daily lifestyle abuse, and it's completely self-powered. This is recording all on its own. It's not plugged into anything, and I'm just syncing this audio in post. So they have achieved an enclosure for ruggedizing what's normally studio fare. And when you compare this to the other solutions that we've previously used out in the field, if you have a little portable handy recorder or a memo recorder, or if you're rocking some kind of dynamic mic out on the road, this is going to sound brighter, crisper, louder, clearer than these solutions. Some really light traffic just here on the street beside me. It's not really super loud. We're gonna see a green light here in just a bit, and cars will start moving, and it probably won't be that bad, especially if your ears were actually in this spot. It just sounds really nice and idyllic. This is a beautiful Southern California day. Someone's bumping some tunes back there. Sounds really great. Our portable recording solutions really do sound kind of dull when they're in the studio, because what they're trying to do is minimize the amount of surrounding environmental noise. They're really good at rejecting sounds coming in from the sides or coming in from behind you. That's not always the case with a, again, studio-grade large diaphragm condenser, something that's more detailed, it's crisper, it's more nuanced. That's one of the reasons why we haven't always taken these things out into the field. But here, again, I'm trying to minimize some of that flotsam and jetsam just by moving this mic a little bit closer than I think I should be, and I'm not really trying to yell into the microphone, so I don't have to worry about the levels being so disproportionate to the situation here. But it's always a fun experiment, and again, this isn't really something I've ever done before. I've never taken a large diaphragm condenser like this out into the field, so already this is just fun for its novelty. Of course, there are a couple caveats. Again, why I mentioned picking the right tool for the right job. This is a handy little brick. You can throw it into a bag, you can throw it into a backpack or a purse on the go. It's a couple button clicks just to record directly to the built-in storage, or if you have an iPhone, there's an app, you can pair it up, you can push a couple buttons and Bluetooth is going to sync over the recordings, or even with video. It's all really handy from at least the iOS perspective. You're pretty much using it solo if you're an Android smartphone user, because Android still doesn't tie in well with these types of accessories when it comes to audio and syncing that with video. The thing about studio grade audio, The microphone is only part of the equation. Studio grade really has as much to do with the capture source as it does with the environment that you're recording in. So studio grade is kinda only as good as the studio you're using that microphone in. And there are actually plenty of times, especially out in the field, where you might not want higher quality audio, which sounds counterintuitive, but bear with me. A wider, brighter, crisper, more detailed recording source in a very noisy environment is going to do a better job of picking up all of that other distracting noise while it's also trying to capture your voice. You can kind of get around that by working proximity and getting really close so that your voice is occupying more of the recording diaphragm than the surrounding noise. But that can only take you so far. If you're using it with the phone, that means you have to have some kind of Bluetooth connection to sync up those recordings. So that's one step in the process towards actually getting your voice or your ideas out into this unit. But if you're not using it with the phone, the process for changing the microphone's gain is a little bit fiddly. So say you do have to record really close to your face, you're gonna wanna drop the volume of the unit, drop the gain that it's recording at, and that's a multiple button configuration press system, which is a little clunky considering that there are so many buttons on the back of the unit. It's really great that you can monitor your recordings with a built-in headphone jack, but there are times where I kinda wish that there was some abbreviated method for getting to the gain level and some sort of visual more than just a flashing red light when I'm clipping. There are times when I wanna record with even just a little bit more headroom than distortion, and it doesn't give you a lot of space when you're using it with those out-of-the-box settings. So you kinda want that visual representation which comes with the iOS app. You know, it is kind of a bummer that this thing doesn't have an Android app. It works really well with iOS. Right now I'm shooting this with a Galaxy Note 8. I like Samsung selfie cameras. They're pretty good front-facing shooters, but I'm having to sync this up in post on my PC. I'm having to do all that editing on my own. It'd be nice if there was some way that we could kind of sync this stuff up. Or maybe if, since Android is so dumb about allowing you to connect microphones to stock camera apps, that they could have some sort of pluralized like plugin. You could run your video through a filter which would automatically match up the audio or sync up the audio from a portable device. Like something like that I think could go a long way for that mobile journalism or mojo setup on a portable device like this. What I think MikMe excels at is a focused audio unit for one individual. The immediacy of having a capture unit, a really high quality capture unit in your purse or your backpack. You pull it out, couple quick button presses, and you're getting your thoughts directly into this audio unit. As we've seen with smartphone cameras, immediacy is a big deal. So that's great from like a mobility standpoint. Say you want a better vlogging solution, or you're really into podcasting. You want something that you can use both in a studio in a nice clean environment, also take it out into the field with you, or also for mobile journalism. You're covering some kind of story out in the field all on your own. What I don't think that this is so hot for would be something like an interview setup. There you'd probably want individual mics on you and your subject. You'll often see a handheld mic moving back and forth between people. The way that you hold on to this and how you would sort of move it back and forth in this kind of boxy grip-like setup can kind of get in the way. And as it's designed to be handheld, but it doesn't have some kind of stick that you can kind of move the mic around, you really want to hold this box in front of your face and look all Bane style, it might not be the best solution if you're regularly putting yourself on camera. And just as one personal fear consideration, while this thing is really ruggedly built, this is a lot of exposed diaphragm for a mic, which absolutely does not look in the slightest weather resistant. The microphones you might see on a reporter who's out there covering a tornado, I don't know that that would be a good fit for MikMe. But all that being said, we should probably discuss price. This thing is a very high quality diaphragm in a rugged enclosure, battery powered with big storage to capture your recordings with a Bluetooth app that connects to iOS devices. That's a pretty rich feature set for a consumer grade audio device. And that also comes with a price tag to match. coming in at that $399 price point when I shopped this puppy online. That is no small chunk of change to achieve some high quality studio grade mobile recordings. We really have to balance that against a couple other options. For example, the Samsung Go mic, which I've been reviewing. You can get a pair of wireless lavs and a receiver which connects to a phone or can plug into your camera if your camera has a 3.5mm microphone input for $299. The audio quality on these little wireless receivers isn't going to be as high as what you can achieve with this large diaphragm condenser, but that setup is going to be a lot more flexible if you need to do something like tackle interviews. Moving up to the price point of the MikMe, the flip side of this discussion would be a product like a Zoom H6. Multiple input-output device, a stereo pair of microphones. Again, that stereo pair not going to sound quite as nice as the MikMe, but it's still going to sound pretty good, and a modular system where you can plug in a larger diaphragm to the front, or you can invest in an additional shotgun microphone to tailor fit that situation. And then you can also flip it to use it as an audio interface for your PC to do multi-track recording. Audio is a wonderful balance of compromises. We can pay for a lot more quality, but that also means that we might be sacrificing flexibility, which may or may not be a better benefit for the project you're trying to accomplish. But that's what brings me back to the MikMe being an interesting, exciting product to talk about. We don't often see this kind of funky, fresh evolution in the world of audio. We've been using portable recorders and memo recorders for decades. We've had mobile field solutions that have worked really well. This microphone was designed in the 60s and hasn't really changed significantly over that period of time. So it's really interesting to see an audio manufacturer take bits and pieces of established audio products and package them up into something new. If it's the right fit for you, if it's the right fit for your project, then that price tag makes a lot of sense, and that's not going to be a burden to invest in a solution like the MikMe. I would just caution running straight into a studio grade solution like this, unless you really do know that this is gonna be the kit you want. I'll of course have links down below this video where you can find more information on the MikMe, maybe shop this puppy online, and all of those links down below this video help support production on this channel, as does checking out my Patreon campaign. You'll get early access to videos and reviews, production diaries, some fun behind the scenes stuff, and also it's where we're building towards releasing an ad-free version of my SGGQA podcast, so always greatly appreciate folks checking that out. You know where you can find me around the internet at SomeGadgetGuy, and I will catch you on the next review.